Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. How does Tammy Slaton commute to hook up with parade of men? For many £1,000. Sisters fans, Tammy Slaton's name has become a synonym for laziness. Yet despite not being able to exercise or even walk a few steps to the mailbox, somehow, Tammy has the energy to meet and have relations with the men she meets online. Has Tammy found a mystery treatment to help resolve her pain and give her energy? Find out what fans are saying about her mysterious bursts of energy, and why they are only frustrating viewers more. Fans point out the obvious on Reddit. £1,000. Sisters fans regularly congregate on Twitter to discuss their thoughts on the show. Shortly after last week's episode, a post popped up that quickly gathered a lot of attention. In the thread, the OP makes a point about Tammy Slaton's activity level that had other fans on the site nodding their head in agreement. I find it crazy how no one has confronted Tammy on being lazy, the poster wrote. But when a man comes, she has the energy to go to the hotel and travel to meet them. She is not going to lose anything because she liked the attention she gets from feeders men. The thread quickly became impregnated with comments from other viewers who had noticed that when it came to relationships and men, Tammy Slaton seemed to have all the energy in the world. Earlier this season on the show, Tammy Slaton told her sister that she wanted to make the trip to Vegas to go see Philip. She has also mentioned that she has gotten intimate with her feeder boyfriends, which is an activity likely to work up a sweat. Fans of the TLC hit show are expressing confusion that Tammy Slaton cites pain, discomfort, and lack of help as reasons why she cannot exercise and perform normal daily tasks, but can somehow manage to do the horizontal mambo. Who's rolling Tammy Slaton to Vegas? In the recent Reddit forum, fans continued to discuss the conundrum that is Tammy's physical abilities. In numerous episodes of the show, fans have seen Tammy Slaton flat out refuse to exercise. Whether it's a walker-assisted stroll to the mailbox outside or some light arm weight exercises with her sister, the 640-plus-pound celeb just tells her family that she can't. Occasionally, she'll switch it by saying that the pain is just too much for her to take. Considering that Tammy is experiencing so much pain that it affects her level of mobility, fans are confused about how she seems to have so much energy to interact with boyfriends when they come to see her. Viewers in the forum bantered, discussing how she possibly has the energy to entertain her boyfriends. They also inquired about how she travels to them. Many pointed out that someone has to be taking her to do these things because she cannot push her own chair into a building, much less drive herself. It makes me wonder how she even got there to begin with, wrote one reader. Someone took her to meet the men, right? She didn't drive herself. She damn sure didn't walk or roll her own self to meet nobody. So which one is helping her out with all the men? Or is it the show? Another commenter mused that it was likely Michael because he's one of the few people who can manage to help move her from place to place. One of the most common theories, however, is that Tammy's niece Emily Combs is the most likely culprit. Chris' adult daughter and Tammy have a very close relationship, and she has always been very supportive of Tammy's happiness. This makes fans think Tammy is using her younger family member to help her meet up with her Prince Charmings. Hunk of burnin' calories, not hunk of burnin' love. Fans want Tammy to find love and support her in a healthy way. They, however, don't think now is the time. Unfortunately, Tammy trolling the BBW websites for big girl fetishists will unlikely lead her to the man of her dreams. In fact, the only thing her relationships have accomplished is digging her further into her food addiction, whittling away at her self-worth. Reddit commenters say that it's time for Tammy to be selfish in a positive way, and start putting her health and well-being above the love of feeder boyfriends. Many fear that Tammy hinges her self-worth on the attention she gets online. They wonder why she can make the effort to stand and move around to film her TikTok videos, but not to walk her 75 steps a day. Even Dr. Eric told her that she would never achieve her goal with these toxic relationships in her life. These men validate her food addiction. So, it's not something she is easily going to give up. Fans say it's time Tammy Slaton chooses to be a hunk of burnin' calories and not a hunk of burnin' love. Tammy Slaton had lived a dozen lives in one. There was the Tammy who had been bedridden for years, trapped in her own body. There was the Tammy who inhaled frustration and exhaled insults at anyone who tried helping her. There was the Tammy who almost died more times than anyone wanted to count. But now Tammy Slaton was a woman reborn, lighter, breathing easier, moving with a freedom she hadn't felt since her teens. And with that freedom came something else, attention. Male attention. More than she ever imagined. And suddenly, The whole family had one burning question. How is Tammy even getting around to hook up with all these men? A newly mobile Tammy. It started subtly. First, she ventured out with her walker. Then she was sliding into the front seat of a car, something Amy had screamed about so loudly the neighbors peeked through their blinds. Tammy! Girl, do you realize what this means? Amy shrieked, waving her arms like she was flagging down a rescue plane. You can sit in a car seat without breaking the frame. Tammy rolled her eyes. Yeah, Amy, I know what it means. It means I can leave. And leave she did. Gone were the days when she had to rely on someone to lift her, roll her, wedge her, or crank her into a vehicle. Tammy now moved herself with a confident little hop that had become her signature. Her physical therapist called it marked improvement. Chris called it miracle hopping. Tammy called it mind your business. But her new mobility didn't just let her go to Walmart or the doctor's office. No, Tammy had bigger destinations in mind. Bigger men, too. Tammy's secret transportation network. When the family began noticing that Tammy was disappearing more often and coming back with suspiciously smug facial expressions, they began investigating. Amy, ever the nosy little sister, started tracking her. Not stalkin', just observatin', she insisted. But every time Amy turned around, Tammy was gone. Like Houdini
Finally,
with
the
oxygen
truth came
tubes.
out.
Tammy had a transportation network. A literal parade of men, big men, skinny men, heavily tattooed men, shy men, trucker men, rodeo men, even one who claimed to be a professional knife-throwing entertainer, were lining up to pick her up. Apparently, a confident Tammy was like catnip. Where are y'all findin' these men? Amy demanded one night as Tammy strutted in, looking like a plus-size Beyoncé with her hair freshly flat-ironed and her t-shirt stretched tight in all the right places. Facebook, Tammy said simply, popping a piece of gum. Facebook, Chris yelled from the couch. When I get on Facebook, I get ads for tractors and blood pressure pills. You get men. Tammy shrugged. What can I say? I got options. And she wasn't lying. Tammy had invented her own commute system, and it was working flawlessly. The ride rotation. Every man she met knew the rules. If they wanted her company, they picked her up. No excuses. No exceptions. It worked like Uber, but none of the drivers were getting paid. They got something else entirely, Tammy's attention. On Mondays, there was Big Country Brent, whose lifted truck had steps so high Tammy needed a running start. He often showed up blushing, offering her Mountain Dew like he was presenting a princess with fine wine. Tuesdays were reserved for Jethro, who smelled faintly like gasoline and pine air fresheners. He called Tammy darlin'. So often she started to think it was actually her first name. Wednesdays, Tammy liked to keep open as her wildcard day. That's when new suitors slid into her DMs, offering adventures like riverbank bonfires or road trips to gas stations with the best fried chicken in the county. Fridays belonged to Miguel, a shy, soft-spoken tattoo artist who always held the car door for her like she was delicate royal porcelain. You sure you're okay getting in? He would ask. Tammy laughed every time. Miguel, I survived rehab in a trach tube. I think I can get in a Honda. Amy tries to intervene. Like any concerned sister, Amy tried to step in. Tammy, this is too many men. You can't be riding around town with strangers like She struggled to find a word. Like a liberated woman? Tammy suggested. No. Like a person who's watchin' too much Discovery ID murder shows and ain't learnin' nothin'. But Tammy wasn't stopping. She had missed too many years. Too much life. Too many chances. Now she was going for everything. The night everything went sideways. One evening, Tammy vanished again. Amy, Chris, and Misty sat at home pacing like anxious parents waiting for a teen who broke curfew. Finally, around midnight, they heard the unmistakable rumble of an engine outside. They rushed to the window. But this wasn't a pickup truck. No, this was a motorcycle. Tammy hopped off the back like she'd just gotten back from a date with a Hell's Angel. Amy nearly fainted. Tammy, what were you doing on a motorcycle? Tammy lifted her chin proudly. Ridin'. You could have fallen. I didn't. You could have died. I didn't. The biker, a bearded man named Colt, with a voice so deep it could trigger car alarms, gave a small wave, revved the engine, and vanished into the night like a leather-clad phantom. Amy stared at her sister. Tammy, who are you? Tammy smiled. Somebody who ain't stuck anymore. A woman with freedom. As wild as her behavior seemed, the truth was simple. Tammy wasn't acting reckless. She was acting alive. Her new mobility wasn't just physical, it was emotional, mental, spiritual. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't defined by her weight, oxygen tank, or limitations. Now she was defined by something else. Choice, freedom, adventure, confidence, desire. However she traveled, whoever picked her up, wherever they went, it all represented one thing. Tammy Slaton finally living. The real answer. So how does Tammy commute to hook up with this parade of men? Simple. She doesn't go to them. They come to her. And to Tammy, that makes all the difference. With every ride, every date, every flirtation, she isn't just exploring the world. She's rediscovering herself. And nothing, not even Amy's panicked shrieks or Chris' dramatic lectures, is going to slow her down now.